real estate agent? Are you looking to acquire clients consistently so you can grow your business and your income to live a great lifestyle? This is Dave Finale and the RE Skill Builder podcast.
Oh man, I love when a plan comes together, except I messed this up. Here we go. Hey man, how are you? I wanna welcome everybody. It is Friday, January 8th. This is Real Estate Talk TGIF, episode 134. We have done 132 weeks in a row. We have had great people on. We have not missed a week. We have another great guy today by the name of Hank Avink, my coach Hank. Hank, I got a question for you before we get started. Do you know what TGIF stands for?
Thank God it's Friday.
You're close. You're really close, but thank God it's finale. I mean, what the hell, right? It's got to be the right way. It's Dave Finale. It's Friday. It works, right? So I think that's pretty cool. I didn't do that on purpose. It's just how it worked out. So
I like it.
Some 132 weeks ago, I decided to do a broadcast because I saw someone do one like this and they did a terrible job. And I said, I can do better even if I do it by myself. So I've had a lot of fun doing it. I've had a lot of great people on. Now I have another great on. And I'm just so excited to have you with us today, Hank. A lot of people may not know who you are and where you come from. So would you please give us a little bit of your story and what you're all about?
Yeah, I want you to know I'm probably just as fucked up as you are. And when I say you are, is I've been a millionaire. I've been bankrupt. I've had a kid go through open heart surgery. I've almost lost my marriage. Been in marriage therapy. I'm on Ritalin. I'm on Cialis. I'm all sorts of screwed up, and I just keep trying to show up and do a better job and help people. And I get it wrong a lot, and then I learn, and then I do it again. And so my story is I loved real estate. Yet when my son had open heart surgery, there was no money coming in because I couldn't show up. And that wasn't fair to my clients. It wasn't fair to my family. And 11 years ago, I read the book 4 Hour Workweek, and I said, never again will I be in this position for the rest of my life. And I'm not anymore. I've got freedom. I've got more money than I know what to do with. And I say that tongue in cheek, yet now it's about impact. And all I want to do is help people.
I think that's amazing. I mean, I was not on my phone. I was sharing our broadcast. So
you're good.
Just everybody knows. So you said a couple of things that are really pretty intense, right? You had Millionaire to Bankrupt, open heart surgery for your son. And your son was what, 6 days old when he had that?
Yep.
Wow.
Game changer.
I tell you what, I mean, we all go through things and you know, I've got friends that have had issues, that have had children issues like that. And I think that's a testament to your coming through it and everything is really great. So talk to me about the changes you made after that point that you just talked about with the 4 Hour Workweek, because I think that's really interesting. A lot of us have read that book, and I'm going to tell you that most of us had never applied anything. So talk to me about that and your application toward that.
Well, what happened is I think so many times we get going and we're just going and going and going. And when I got ripped out of my business and everything changed, everything that I thought was important to me no longer became important. And it gave me a second to pause and look around. And I said, okay, if I'm working 20-hour days, working all the time, I've got another kid. We're having another kid. Like, it was no life. And I was like, who do I want to be like? And when I looked around, there was no example of real estate agents that I wanted to be like. They were all divorced multiple times. Most of them made a ton of money, yet all of them were broke. They weren't paying their office bills, their taxes. Like, when I looked, I'm like, there's no one I want to be like, yet I love real estate. So then I went to KW, read the Red Book, and I was like, ah.
Right.
Then I went to execute, and I was like, maybe I just suck because, you know, I built the team, and I was like, hey, everybody says I'm doing great. I'm getting the accolades, yet I wasn't making any money. And I'd go and I'd help people grow, and then they'd start doing buyer's agent math, and I don't want to hold anybody back. They're like, Hank, you know, thanks, but now we don't want to pay you 50%. And I didn't disagree with them. However, I wasn't getting an ROI, so it almost made me start to become resentful because I'm a giver, but it wasn't sustainable. And so I just kept trying to hit my head against the wall. And then I just I'd get to a ceiling of achievement. I'm like, okay, let's move on to the next thing. Let's move on to the next thing. And because, there's times I had to draw the arrow back. I mean, I had 600 flights in 3 years, 600 flights.
Holy shit.
Brutal. However, I knew that was part of my journey to go help people. So, I mean, I'd get on a flight on Monday and come home on Friday, but that's not a life to live either.
No.
So after 3 years of doing that, I said, I'm done. And what triggered me, it's the simplest of things. What triggered me was my wife called me. I'm getting off the plane. She goes, hey, we got Henry deodorant. And I was like, what? She goes, yeah, he needed deodorant. I went to get it with him. And I said, I'm done. She goes, well, what do you mean you're done? I said, I'm not missing out on another moment. She goes, honey, we just built our dream home. You're just now starting to make a ton of money. You're one of the top coaches. You're freaking me out. I said, well, we'll figure it out, but I'm done. I'm not going to keep doing this. And that's when we decided to, for 9 months, we decided to figure out what our exit plan was.
Right.
So we launched our coaching company with a non-compete, starting over from scratch. And I mean, I was scared. We went back to zero. And that's when I came to EXP for one reason. If this thing hit, I knew it could hit big. And when I came over, it was a shit show. It was awful. It took me 3 months to become part of the MLS. I was getting hammered by my own company. And it took me 18 months. But now through EXP and the model, I don't have to do anything.
What do you mean you don't have to do anything?
So I coach in phases. So you got phase 1 income, phase 2 income, and phase 3 income. Phase 1 income is how much money do you need in order to live? For me in coaching, my goal is to get to $10,000 a month so I could just breathe. I mean, now we're not doing a lot of $10,000 a month, but that would allow us to breathe. So my first pillar post was get my coaching up and going. Well, then what I did with EXP was I just got skill set, time on task, and experimentation. Right. I spent 5 hours a week. It took me 18 months to get my first victory at EXP, and a victory gives you confidence. So 18 months I was at EXP and didn't attract anybody because I didn't necessarily care about the company because and I was also not in a good spot. I was trying to survive. When you're in survival, can you worry about wealth? No, you're trying to just make sure that you get food, shelter, and water. Right. So 18 months in, I got my first victory. Well, once I had confidence and I was excited about the company, we grew by 95 agents. Well, here's the challenge with real estate. On January 1st, you start over. There's so many variables. And when I was hitting my head against the wall, on January 1st, I was like, oh my gosh, can I do it again? Imposter syndrome or, hey, how'd you do it? I don't know how I did it. I just go out there and work. Well, people would come shadow me. They're like, well, Hank, how did you do this? And that's where we came up with 50-25-1. And Dave, we were talking before we got on the call. You knew of me because I live my life loud. Some people that you respect say, hey, this about Hank. Right. Because my goal is for 50 people a day to see Hank and either say, I love this guy or I fucking hate him. I just don't want him to be neutral.
Right.
Most people, when they first hear me, they judge me and they're like, I don't like him. My goal is to have them at least remember me. And then when we can get together and we shake hands, there's an energy exchange.
Yep.
And when you exchange that energy, then you get in a conversation. Like, Dave, we got in a conversation. I knew through the conversation I liked you. My goal is one person a day. We both remember where we were when our lives were transformed just a little bit because we're in relationship. And if I can do that every single day, 365 times a year, over 5 years, I'll have everything that I want because now it's just a math equation, help enough people get what they want, avoid the drama because a lot of people like the drama. I just had someone leave our company because I said, you're a fucking idiot if you don't get EXP. They use that as an excuse as to why they wanted to leave. Like, there's more going on with someone if they let one guy out of 40,000 people get their panties in a bunch where they leave because I drop an F-bomb and I say they're an idiot if they don't get it. Like, really? You're going to blame me? Okay. Right. If that makes you feel better, good luck. Let me know how that works out in life where you want to blame somebody else as to why you're leaving. You got me all fired up, Dave.
Yeah, so great, man. So I want you to dissect 50-25-1. Dissect that for me.
Well, let's look at the math. And when I was looking at the math and how my clients do it, because most of my clients build their business on relationships and referrals, and everybody's like, well, how do you do it? So looking back and connecting the dots, what we realize is they somehow get 50 people a day to see them. So 50 people a day is 18,000 connections over the course of the year. Now what we do is we get people to not be neutral because if people don't remember you, that 50, the connection, it doesn't mean anything. But if they remember you, so for example, when I started in real estate residential in 08, because I did rental properties before I did residential, 08 in Michigan, not a good time to start in real estate for most. I was struggling, so I drove a Prius in Michigan, the car state, with my face on it going, okay, it wasn't that bad yet. So imagine I had my Prius wrapped. Prius wasn't the most fun car in Michigan. So my car's wrapped with my face on it. Did every single person in my farm at least know of me? Yeah. So what would happen was I'd pull up to the gas station. There'd be a guy in a big SUV. Gas is $5. He'd look at me. I'd look at him. You know how alphas do it. I said, you want to do it? He's like, what are you talking about? I go, we can just stick it out and see. Mine's smaller, I bet. And they'd start laughing. See, and they'd start laughing. And they're like, you're crazy. So every time they saw my car, I got a branding impression. Right. Well, what happened was we'd get that handshake. Then they know who I was. They'd start asking questions. And eventually they're like, oh, that's Hank. And since they knew I did real estate, it was natural that when it came to real estate, they're like, I want that guy. But most people aren't willing to be them true selves. Like, I don't give a fuck what people think about me. I want to help people. That's all I want to do. And if you think because I got a potty mouth or because I'm aggressive or whatever, and that doesn't do it for you, that's okay. There's no hidden agenda here. I make more than enough money. I don't need any more money. All I want to do is help people. And so it helps cut through the noise in this industry because so many people have hidden agendas. I have no hidden agenda. None whatsoever. So 50-25-1 is my formula, and I just do it every single day. When I have a new goal, so my goal this year is to get to 996 agents in EXP. We're currently at 600. We're currently at 679, and I know my math. You can only manage 120 relationships. Let me give you an example. When my dad dies, it's going to bring me to my knees. If I'm on Facebook and I see that someone's dad dies and all I do is hit the sad button, that's a 50. So I'm hitting sad. It acknowledges it. But if I don't get into action, that's not a real relationship.
Right.
Like there's people, if their dad died, I'm on the next plane to go be with them. You can't do that with 5,000 people. You can do that with 36. So I have my 36 right here. You see Rich Tomasini, he's in my 36. He's not in my rev share line, yet he's my brother of another mother, and we help each other grow. If I help these 36 people get what they want, I'll get everything that I want. So here's the deal. Now that I'm going to 996, my prior goal, I need different people here. And this is where people get romantic. I have relationships, and these relationships, if I help them get what they want, better help me get to where I want. Otherwise, they're not sustainable. And people get relationships and friendships confused. See, here's the thing is people think because you're in a relationship that you're friends. When I had a national championship hockey team, those are different relationships than when I bought 42 rental properties. And some people are like, well, Hank, you've changed. Yeah, I've changed. I'm doing something different.
Right.
You're not available for me, Hank. We're not going to win a national championship now. Now I'm going to buy rental properties. It's different going to build rental properties than playing hockey. You need different relationships.
A little bit, yeah.
And so just like once I reach 996 at EXP, I'll pause. I'll go to my advisors. I'll go to my accountant. I'll go to my attorney, my tax accountant, my wife. We'll say, okay, what's next? Now that we're here, what do we want to go do next? And then guess what? If we want to go climb Mount Everest, probably none of these 36 will be in my A's if we're going to go climb Mount Everest. Why? It's going to take different relationships.
Right.
But everybody romanticizes that you got to be friends and like you can't go do something different. So that's what I'm working through right now.
Well, that really it goes along with a lot of things I talk about when I talk about, people people want to do business with people they know, but everybody talks about, well, I've got lots of friends. No, you don't. You've got lots of acquaintances, which are relationships, right? And you can work those relationships one way or the other, depending on what your goals are and what their goals are. I say every day, and it's on my my email signature. I just want to help people, right? It's what it's all about. And while it may take you a long time to have them help you or have them have the reciprocity or the feeling of contribution come back to you, it's still going to happen.
It doesn't, because here's the thing is so many people tiptoe around things. For example, if somebody's in my A's, I know their goals. They know my goals. And if they have a way to help me do my goal and they choose to use somebody else, then guess what? They made a decision that wasn't in the contract, and we're going to have a hard conversation. So if you're in my A's, this is an unfair proximity to be in because there's expectations. So for example, if somebody's an A in my life, they're not with EXP. We've had the conversation. If you're joining EXP, will it be through me or somebody else? And if they say it would be through you and then they choose to join through somebody else, well, they broke a contract. Now, it's not conditional. I have A's in my life that will not be joining EXP through me. It doesn't stop me from helping them. But who's ever had a good friend, you have them over to break bread with you, and then they list with somebody else and it catches you off guard. Well, that's your fault. Anytime you get an outcome that you don't desire, put a new standard in place and make sure people know those standards. Everybody knows my standards that's close to me. And if they break those standards, they just told me what they feel about our relationship. And we don't have a relationship moving forward if they make that choice.
Right.
They make the choice, not me.
Exactly. It's the relationships, it's the ones, and like you said, you build expectations with those relationships, and that's just how it works. That's just how you are. Before, I want to go back to something else, and because a lot of people talk about the relationships they have with the people that they work with, right? You mentioned teams, and you said it just wasn't something that was sustainable, where everybody wants to have a team, right? And you said something really interesting is that, they love you and everything and like the leads, but 50% ain't going to make it. So is there an equation? Is there math to make that team situation actually work?
Yeah, Glenn Sanford built it for us. It's the only real estate model that your number one goal is to help the person outgrow you and not need you anymore. Number one goal. You don't hold anything back. Your hope is that they never have to call you again, but they choose to because they don't need you. They want to be with you. It's fear versus force, or power versus force. See, many companies, what they do is they keep their thumb on you so that they've got you. They hold you back. They threaten you. They do all that. Everybody who's with me is with me because they choose to, not because they need to be. And so Glenn's given us a model where you help enough people succeed, you get rewarded for it. I have a team with 679 agents. I know predictably starting January 1st, every single one of those agents, and I got to be careful talking about money, will produce an average dollar amount. So I'm not starting over. I know predictably how much money my wife and I will make from revenue share alone. So that allows me to draw the arrow back in other areas. So for example, I used to carry 30 coaching clients at a time. I've got 7 right now. That's $1,000 now, $1,000 per coaching client. I'm down to 7 because I know I have predictable income from rev share, and I'm done trading dollars for hours. I help someone grow in rev share, reach their 10. I know and we'll use numbers of when somebody comes in, if they cap, that's $36,000. I know rather than trading dollars for hours and making 12 grand off a coaching client, if I help them succeed through EXP, I'm mostly going to make $36,000 plus it's ongoing. Did I answer your question, or did I get off on the beaten track?
No. You answered the question because I'm going to take it one step further. So you said 679 in your team. I want to make sure that we're clear on that. These are 679 people. I'll use another word in your organization. Yep. Is that the right word? People that you've brought in either directly or indirectly, correct?
So let's look at the math here. I've had a 1,004 gross. 679 net. Since March of 2016, I've spent no more than 3 to 5 hours a week. Now, doing real estate and doing coaching, it goes on the line. So I've spent under 375 hours doing EXP exclusively. I've built a very large income. And now here's the deal. You show me your real estate team. We'll pull out our P&Ls. We'll show out how much exposure you have to keep that team going, because I don't have to maintain my team. I could just say, hey, I'm out. Kids have an open heart surgery. My income's still going to come in. I don't have exposure of the brokerage. I don't have the liability. So anybody who thinks they have a high net life team, let's pull out our P&L. So we're talking real numbers. Let's show real net income. Let's show the hours that you put in to do it. The hours that I put in to build this team over the last 5 years is under 300 hours. And now I have an income stream that's well over phase 3 income, meaning for the last 9 months, the income stream from revenue share has hit my phase 3 income, which means as long as I don't do anything stupid, I've won the game of life. It's 3 times the amount that I need to live. And that's just one income stream.
That's fantastic. I mean, and you said so you got going with Keller Williams. You had a team. You had a coaching business. Talk to me about your coaching business. Talk to me about the type of coach you are and what you actually coach. And you've talked about the number 36, and it's all over your stuff. So let's talk about that and how you help people with that 36.
Great question. And I've had the honor of coaching thousands of agents, and Keller Williams was very impactful for where I am today. And I'll be forever grateful. And some things are a good idea until they're not. And so when I looked, I would see all these guys up on stage being celebrated. And I knew behind the scenes they hadn't paid their taxes. Their marriage was falling apart. I'm like, this is fucking ridiculous that we're putting them up there on a pedestal, having people want to be like them, and you couldn't pay me to have their life. And so what I did was I started doing the math and started looking, and in 36 deals, here's the reality. When you first start out, you're doing 24 to live, and you are just working 20 hours a week to figure out how you're going to live. And then it switches where you have to decide what you want to do. 36 transactions, an agent can do 36 transactions by themselves with no assistant, 3 deals a month, do a great job for their clients. They'll do 20% of the work to make 80% of the money. And when they do that, here's what it does. It frees up the other 80% of the time. This is where you bring in a new income stream. So now you're going to bring in a new income stream, spend 80% of the time to get 20% of the results. You're going to go backwards because you could just sell more real estate, more. That's what everybody wants to do. More is better. No, it's not. Subtraction leads to multiplication. So now you're spending 20% of your time selling real estate to make 80% of the money. You spend 80% of your time to maybe go find out real estate investing to make 20% of the money. Once that flip-flops and you identify the 20% that makes it 80%, now you have 80% of the money coming in from real estate, 80% of the money coming in from investing. Now you have 160% of income, and now you've got 60% of your time to go do another income stream. So here's what I coach to: net life. Net life. That's all it is.
Net life. Explain that a little bit.
Well, net life, what do you want out of life? Here's what I want out of life. I want to be able to take my kids to school. I want my kids to think I'm awesome, not because I'm not. I just want to spend time with them. I want my wife to love me. I want to love and adore her. I want to make enough money where I can help people. You know, my net life numbers, as long as I'm making $360,000 a year, anything else is just bonus. I'll choose a better life over more. Meaning I could right now, if I wanted to just work 1 to 2 hours a week, I could do that and still make $360,000 a year. The only reason I haven't made $1 million in a year yet is 1, I haven't had enough time on task. And 2, I haven't had a problem big enough to force me to give up my net life to go do more or embrace some suck.
So you know, we've been all over the place a little bit, and I apologize if I'm jumping around, right? I asked you about the numbers. You talked about subtraction leads to multiplication. Let's talk about math. Let's talk about the math. Math. You have reminders for yourself, obvious to you, and now obvious to most. Math versus drama. I understand that. So get into the math to make it simple for everybody else.
Okay. And is most of your audience real estate agents?
Yes.
So I always like asking people, how many transactions do you want to do? And they're always specific. 48. Okay. Well, why 48? And they tell me, and I said, well, if you could do 24 instead of 48 and make more money, would that be okay? And they're like, well, yeah. Or they might be, well, why not? I asked a guy yesterday. He goes, I'd rather do 48 because I need more transactions to get better. It's not about the money. Okay, that makes sense. But most people would rather do 24 instead of 48 because you can make the same amount of money with hopefully less work. But what people don't want to do is they don't want to go do the activities that might have them get to a higher price point. They might not want to turn down the buyer because I'd rather have 24 clients, 12 of which buy a home. So you have 24 clients to do 36 deals. And what people aren't willing to do is say no to things because, well, Hank, I can't say no to it. Yes, you can. Raise your standards.
Yeah. No, right.
No. Right. And so subtraction. So the math behind it is everybody thinks that they have to say yes to everything. There's a point where I stopped putting buyers in my car. There's a point where I stopped selling real estate. There's a point where I stopped doing this. And every time that I did that, every time I subtract out non-scalable activities, my income became more predictable. See, most people, because they're broke, they don't know their numbers. More is their answer. It's destructive abundance. Well, you start doing more deals. You do 8 deals in a month, you're going to suck. There's no way that you can't be reactive as a single agent doing 8 deals. So what we do is, and all my numbers are, how do we figure out your net life formula, figure out the roadmap to your next pillar post, And John Cheplack, one of my coaches I've had over the years, is, Hank, stop worrying so far down the road. You get to the next pillar post, you'll know what the next move is. Worry about the micro. It'll lead to the macro because you're not in control. So the math is, what do you got to do to get to that next pillar post and then go like this? Like everybody's on Clubhouse right now. Hank, you got to – I've had many people say, Hank, you got to be on Clubhouse. Fuck you. I don't have to do anything.
I'm with you, man.
Like, for one, I look at your life. I wouldn't want your life to, and this is where I sound arrogant and like an asshole. I don't take it. Like, don't give me advice. You don't even know what game I'm playing and you're going to tell me what to do? No.
Right. Yeah, it's funny because I know John Cheplack's a friend of mine. I've worked with him for years and years. And I know he came out the other day and said something, he won't be on Clubhouse, right? So it's just that's an interesting.
I would have bet money that Cheplack wouldn't be in. Why? Because if Cheplack and I and myself, if we just follow our game plan, we'll win the game. We don't need anything new.
That is probably one of the best things that I've heard in a very, very long time. You follow your game plan that you know is going to work, and you go forward. And a lot of times, you correct me if I'm wrong, having faith in what you're doing and having faith that you're following the right thing, even though it hasn't worked yet, is just as important as, what you're going for. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, and I love that you said consistency. One thing that made me say yes to this was how many shows that you have done, because here's what we need on the front end. We need commitment and we need consistency. And most people try something for 30 days. If I went to the gym for 30 days, I'm not going to see results. So, when I look at most people's math behind their business, I'm like, no shit, you're not getting the results. When we look at our math, you haven't been consistent. You haven't done enough activities to even start to figure out your success formula of skill set, time on task, experimentation until you get a victory and you get confidence. What happens is that experimentation, once you get some victories, turns into activities. Once it turns into activities, then what you do is you have a math formula to go do it and do it and do it. Dave, I can tell you what I've done every single hour on the hour from January 1st, 2016.
That you said that to me the other day when we had the pre-pro meeting. And I've been thinking about, that is what stuck with me from our conversation earlier in the week. That stuck with me. And I'm saying, how can I do that? Am I disciplined enough to do that? Can I build the discipline to do that? How did you discipline yourself to do that? Because I ask agents as we start our relationship to write down for a week everything that they do, and they always fail. What's the discipline? Is there a certain discipline that you need to do that?
Well, and I want to give Donna Kokoska credit on this, is she really helped me understand switch costs. I'm not very disciplined. I just hate fucking pain and losing. So when I look at my schedule, I know what I need to do in order to get the outcomes that I want. And if I choose not to do them, I know the path that it's going to lead down. So for example, you've heard do the 2 before, 2, 10, 40. There's nothing new under the sun. I knew I needed 2 appointments a day when this came to me. And I knew if I didn't do 2 appointments a day, I would not be married. Therefore, somebody else might be spending time with my kids. Somebody else might be walking my kid down the aisle, because if I couldn't provide for my wife and my family, I would self-sabotage so she could go find the man that she deserves. Like, this is how much therapy has gotten me deep on what I do. So when I look at my schedule, I know if I follow my schedule, I'll get the results. So if I choose not to follow my schedule, that's about ego and significance. Because Glenn Sanford reached out to me once. He goes, "Hey, can you talk?" I says, "Yeah, is it important and urgent?" He goes, "No, it's just important. It's not urgent." Perfect. Here's my time trade. How many people do you think are going to send Glenn Sanford a time trade versus just jumping on the phone? Dave Kennard, president of our company, when he joined, he goes, "Hank, can I have a phone call?" "Yeah, sure, no problem. Here's my time trade." He goes, "Hank, you're 3 weeks out." I said, "Yeah, I'm 3 weeks out for a call." He goes, "Well, I need a call this week." "Perfect. I'll send you a link. $1,000. He goes, "Hank, why am I going to pay $1,000? If you want my time right now, you're asking me not to spend time with my top 36 that I know will help me get to my goals. You're going to pay me for it. And if we get off that call, Dave, and it's not worth it, I'll send you $1,000 back. Yet I'm not going to give you my time if it's not worth $1,000 to you." He goes, "That's fair enough." He didn't take me up on it. Great. So guess what I did? Just follow my schedule, because everybody wants a piece of you. "Hey, you got a second? Hey, you got a second?" I volunteered 10% of my time. 10%, that's it. Dave was 3 weeks out from getting a call with me because I had already given away my 10% for the 2 weeks. So that's how I do it. Is I'm not disciplined. I just don't want to fucking fail. I love my family too much.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. I mean, I'm going to bring on my buddy in a couple of minutes, Sekou, but I want to ask you one other question, reference to what you've already mentioned. Is you said earlier that most people won't be themselves, right? Most people won't be themselves. You said as we went on, I'm not filtered, yada yada. And I said I don't care, right? And what does it take for someone to actually be themselves? For someone to get out of their own fucking way? What does it take?
Well, that could be a podcast in and of itself. One, you've just got to surrender. You got to get your teeth kicked in, and you got to get rid of shame and judgment, and you got to be 100% honest with yourself, and you got to do the deep work. I've had therapists for years. I've been on Ritalin. I've had coaches, and you've got to be willing to be okay and be wrong, and then learn. And so I've just given up being right. I want to know when I'm wrong, and everybody's worried about looking good and being right. I'm bald. I wear a hat because you know what? I'm a little bit insecure about it. And I did a speech for EXP where I went up there, I took my hat off, I took my shirt off, I took my pants off. And I said, if all y'all could just give up looking good and being right, you might actually get something done. Like, I know I'm fucked up. I'm doing the best job that I can. And guess what? I still fall short. And if you want to kick me while I'm down, while I'm doing the best that I can, go for it. If that makes you feel better. But what it does is it lets people be real with you. And when you're heard and you're authentic, you'll get noticed and known. The reason we're on this call is because I've been heard through the noise. I've been authentic, like me or love me. People notice me, and now I become known. And life gets much easier when people know what they're going into when they talk to you.
That's fantastic. We're gonna shift a little bit here. We're gonna go to a little bit of a commercial of a project that I work on. I'm gonna bring in my buddy Sekou Pyle, who admires you as much as I do, and just give me a second and we'll get there, okay?
Perfect.
Awesome. NJHeroesProgram.com is all about heroes. What's a hero? Who's a hero? Active military, military veterans, police and fire personnel, nurses, doctors, teachers, municipal workers, grocery store workers, and transportation workers. This is about helping these heroes, save money when buying and selling their homes. Through the New Jersey Buyer Rebate Program and Seller Negotiable Commissions, NJHeroesProgram.com saves heroes money when buying and selling their homes. I'm Dave Finale. I'm a real estate broker in New Jersey and a real estate coach helping agents nationwide. I've coordinated real estate agents and affiliated services all over the state of New Jersey to save our heroes money when buying and selling homes. We need to help them out. Heroes come in many shapes, sizes, attitudes, and jobs, right? The one thing that makes them all heroes is they helped us. One way or the other, they protected us. They've been there for us. Now I think it's our turn to be there for them. At least it's my turn. Go to NJHeroesProgram.com as a hero and give us a little information so we can save you money when you buy a home. As an agent, loan officer, home inspector, attorney, or anyone aiding in home ownership, become a sponsor. To become a sponsor, there is no cost. All you have to do is give back. How easy is that? Go to NJHeroesProgram.com. I can't wait to talk to all of you. Let's go. Let's get it done. And here we are. And here we are. Hank, I want to thank you for hanging in there for me. And we're bringing in Sekou Pyle, who is I coach with Sekou. Sekou coaches me. We work with a bunch of badass agents. And I don't know who's got the feedback there, but Sekou, me, Hank.
Hank, no, I'm a fan, man. I'm a fan, and I'm a fan of the ball head too, man. Let's go, let's grow. Come on, man. Listen,
I love it.
Where's the
I'm not even gonna. I don't know if this me. Is this me or you? Is this me?
Well, you're the only variable, so I'm going to change mine to a Yeti. Is that better?
Hold on.
Is it gone?
Yeah, it's gone.
It was me. I just changed my speaker.
So check this out. Check this out, Hank. I'm gonna just jump right in. I attribute the transformation in my life to 2 deciding factors. I stopped taking shit personally, and I gave up the need to be right.
Love it.
Dude, changed my entire life. I got so many scars on my knuckles from knockdown, drag out, literal physical fights in the universe where I was like, who the fuck do you think you are? Such and such, blah, 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 blah. Dude, yes. I'm telling you now, those 2 things, man, I'm over here goosebumping. He says, I took off my hat, took off my shirt, took off my pants. If you want to kick me now, more power to you.
Yep.
The idea of embodying, that's unfortunate. Just embodying those 2 words, that's unfortunate. Man, my life is completely different. So not only do I take my hat off to you, man, I'm going to leave it off for a little while.
I only came on for a hat. I heard I get a hat from being on here. Is that true?
You're fucking right. You get a goddamn hat when you go on this thing. Dude, Finale and I, we talk all the time, man, and we're not always in lockstep, but we are in alignment. Right?
That's a great way to put it, man. That's a great way to put it.
Yeah, man. Sometimes we're going in the same direction on different tracks, bro. And that's okay, especially because I know, this is what I know. I know that Finale is always going to show up. He's always going to show up. He's always going to bring his best. Even if when I'm bringing, I might not feel like it's my best. It's the best that I got right now. Right? And so we were on this morning with that group of badass agents, and the events of Wednesday is a through line for us, man. The events of Wednesday is a through line for us. And there's all these different perspectives. And I was talking to my brother who's sitting very close by. We're all operating from home, right? And he's on his calls. I'm on mine. The kids are on the calls in the room. And we looked at the news coverage of what was going on. And he and I both was like, this is nothing new for us. This is something that's new for everyone else. This is me being naked on the floor. This is nothing new for us. Every single time, I don't know if this is too controversial for this call this morning, Finale, but every single time the vote goes like this, and I'm putting the quotes up, the vote goes like this, where more people of different demographics voice their opinion, then the Patriots show up and burn shit down. And so if you look at exactly.
And I have this because I grew up ignorant.
Yeah, man, we all did, because they keep cutting this shit out of the history books. So we don't learn it, then we're doomed to repeat it. And so we're at this place in time right now where we're all together, locked indoors, dealing with a singular enemy, and we don't know what to do. So what we do is we stop, we give up the need to be right, just be buck-ass naked, stop taking shit so personally, and let's roll up our sleeves and do this shit together, man. Let's be in alignment, even if we're on different tracks. Dude, Hank, this was a call I needed this morning, man. My brother stopped working. He's over there working, and I usually keep this in my headphones. He's over there working. He's looking at the screen like, yeah, look, fucking. This is awesome, man.
And I got chills too, because one of my goals is diversity. I've got all these things here that we're working on, because if we're not intentional about it, it's not going to change. And one thing I love about EXP is our ability to, our core values actually mean something. So when I saw the starting lineup for EXP Con, 6 white people, I said in the influencers group, what's up with this?
Yeah,
it wasn't intentional. I said, that's the problem. We've got to be intentional to make sure this shit doesn't happen. Now, at the end of the day, things aren't always as they appear to be. But at the end of the day, that will not happen on my watch again at EXP again. Period.
Dude, I was talking to Kinder As a matter of fact, I was talking to a lot of people. I say this often on my interview calls and calls with any influencers I know. I'm like, there's a huge blind spot in the industry, and it's not intentional.
It's not.
It's not intentional. There's a huge blind spot in the industry, and if you just looked at it, it would transform a whole lot more of this business that you've already transformed. I'm like, there's more people of color in this industry in leadership positions than in any other industry. There are more women in positions of power, leading teams, Fortune 500 companies than in any other industry. And all we got to do, and we don't know it because we just don't, it's not intentional.
We're not intentional.
It's not intentional. Hank, you have a rocket-powered supporter behind you.
Thank you.
Next to you, brother. I'm telling you now.
Well, can I share my bigger mission with you guys?
Please.
Absolutely. Hank, could you try to fix the feedbacks coming from your side?
I can't hear feedback, by the way, Finale. It's only I don't know if anyone else can hear it, but I can't hear feedback.
It was working fine with us, Dave. So
it's probably me.
I think it's you
I
because
hear it when Hank talks.
let me.
It is you. It is you. Say. Go ahead, Hank.
Okay, so here's my mission. Ryan Levesque. Ryan Levesque. Do you know Ryan Levesque?
I don't know him. I know of him. I've read his stuff.
So there's a lot of respect about Ryan. I didn't have a good experience with this coaching program. However, here's one thing that I did get from him is he teaches first you go to freedom. The pyramid is freedom, impact, legacy. So I've reached freedom via the EXP model. So right now I'm going for impact because I believe the EXP model is the biggest way that I can have impact on people. And I'm going to do that till my 50th birthday. On my 50th birthday, here's what I'm going to do. Anybody who can write a check for $1 million is going to come meet wherever my office is. And we're going to have, let's say it's $36 million. Plus we're going to have a network, not only all over North America, we're going to have a network where we help change lives. And now what we're going to do is we're going to decide what we're going to do with money and influence and go make a big fucking difference in this world. So I'm building all these little soldiers, help them make money, help their relationships be better, their marriages be better, have them have the power. It's like, okay, now we got some freedom. Now what do we want to go do? And we're going to spend the next 10 years making a difference. And we're going to have the math behind how to do it. We'll have people in every single city where we've changed their life. They're not there because they're forced to be there. They're there because when I met Pete Weller, he had $6 in his account. And now Pete's making 5 figures a month coaching, changing lives. You come across me, I don't have to say, Pete, do anything. Pete's going to step in and say, whoa, that doesn't work. So when you have people that are there because they choose to be, because you built the relationships through power, not through force, good luck. We're going to change this world.
Yes.
I believe we can do that. And you know what? It's a matter of what we're doing in our businesses, because our businesses are not coming from here first. They're coming from here first. Our souls, right? And I don't talk about this an awful lot publicly, but for me, it has to be soulful for it to mean something to me. It's got to be within me.
Yep.
That's why I say I just want to help people, and I don't go out of my way to do it. It appears.
Well,
right?
So Glenn's been talking to us. Once you have freedom, a lot of people, what they do is they self-sabotage because it's much easier having your back in the corner. Abundance is tough. I have a lot of choices right now. And what happens is it's much easier to come from scarcity because you don't have any choices. And Glenn talks about once you get freedom, you've got to go into purpose. I use the word impact because that's what Ryan Levesque brought to me. But we use Glenn's word purpose. If you're not in purpose, guess what? You're going to get lazy. And when it gets easy, you get lazy. And then what happens is you fall backwards and you start losing momentum. And the one thing we haven't talked about in the success code is once you get to momentum, now you got to build another layer of the success code. So that's why we use octagons, is because every relationship is building a foundation. And some relationships will be in your life today. I just had someone join EXP. She goes, Hank, when I met you 6 years ago, I knew there was a reason we were supposed to meet. It probably wasn't at that time. I just knew it'd be something bigger. But we had skill set, time on task, and experimentation together back then. Then we got time on task, and now we have a true relationship, even though we stepped away from each other for 4 or 5 years.
Hey, Hank.
Yes.
So your tattoo,
Yep.
right? The model that you have there is a cycle, right?
Correct.
It's building. It's a cycle. What people, specifically realtors, tend to forget or not realize is that perspective is also a part of that. And if you take that and turn your model sideways so that you can see it from the side, it's going up. Every time you go around that cycle, you hit another layer, another level, and it just keeps rising up. So you start building this way. So those hexes stack, right? They stack. And that's what, yeah, baby. Yes. Those hexes stack. So when we are, and I say we, man, when we are looking at, I look at that time trade that you were talking about, and I say to myself, all right, my family, you can't have my family time, right? And then I start looking at the agents that I'm coaching with. I only allow agents that are like family to coach with me, right? Like, because I got to surround myself with the best. My mission, Hank, is to be one of the most highly sought after coaches in the world. I want to rank in the top 1% of all business people in the world and have people come to me. In order to do that, my vision is I have to align with the greatest real estate agents from all stages in their business. Greatness is a mindset, not an achievement. You know what I mean? It's like, that's where we are. So now I start stacking my hexes. I start building agents and start stacking my hexes because I repeat that process over and over again. Hank, when I tell you that it evolved from, check this out, right? In alignment with your mission.
Yeah.
It evolved from, I wanted to make 10 millionaires a year for the rest of my life. That was my goal as a coach. I want to make 10 millionaires a year for the rest of my life. I realized that there was not enough purpose to that. There was not enough purpose to that. Yeah, I was changing lives, or I felt like I was changing, but there was not enough clarity. There was not enough purpose to that. And I couldn't sell that vision to other agents because most people can't even perceive of them being a millionaire. They don't know what to do at that time. So when you reach that success, when you reach abundance, they self-sabotage. Dude, this session is the blueprints. If you are out there and you're listening and you're not taking notes, I don't know what to do for you.
So you ready for this? I want to be the
listening.
number one coach that nobody knows about because I want to. Do you know who Dan Kennedy is?
Yep.
No.
I do.
See, he was the coach of Russell Brunson and all those people. My goal is to coach through people where nobody knows me, and I help build everybody else up.
Let's go. You know, oddly enough, you know the lesson that I teach. So there's agents out there that are building a brand, you know, the Sekou Pile team and the Sekou Pile Realty team and things like that. And what I'm saying is that I'm coaching you to be the unknown factor in your business. To have the name of your business not be your name, or the brand of your business not be your name, so that you can actually at some point step away from the damn business. Right? Tony Robbins, who I think is one of the most phenomenal speakers, one of the most phenomenal coaches, and all of this and that, can never not show up to one of his events.
Not yet. Look at
Not yet.
Dave Ramsey, and I love studying here. And Dave, I know I'm getting off track. Dave Ramsey is doing a good job bringing in other personalities, and he's transitioning. So here's what I love about it. There's no right or wrong way.
Right.
Alignment with what you want.
Purpose. Dude.
Are we doing this all afternoon? Because I think we could probably throw down for the next 5 hours.
Dude, man, I know I actually have a super ultra mega virtual open house that I got to do in 10 minutes. I popped in, man, but fuck.
This is like really inspirational. It's really pointed. It's pointed all the way around to everything you want to talk about, right? So we do this every week and
every day.
Every day, really. I mean, this broadcast, comes on, most of them, right? It comes on at the end.
Yeah.
You give a different attitude, a different point. And I think it's really hit home really, really well today. So thank you for that. You know, it's just, I mean, look, man, from a sense of purpose, from a sense of being, from a soulful sense, right? And it's tough because, you know, one of the things I learned about myself was that I know that if I have a goal, when I hit that goal, I don't know what the fuck to do, because it's like, okay, I hit the goal, now what? Because I'm not climbing. I don't have it set for the next goal. I don't have consistency in my head, right? And I've learned a lot. So it sets me back, but that won't happen to me again, simply because I finally get it.
So through therapy, they helped me. My happiness and success was so narrow, it wasn't reasonable to actually have a good, happy life. And I think that's the challenge is if we're not enjoying the journey more than we enjoy the destination, we're fucked.
And now I enjoy the journey a lot more of getting there, because I understand the journey a lot more. And I think that's where a lot of people miss, is they're not taking apart and really enjoying as they're getting there. They're blinded by the one thing.
Here's what I want to share is whenever I get kicked in the teeth, I smile. And I'm going to share something that really hurts me right now. My assistant of the last 7 years unfriended me recently.
Oh,
when that happened, I mean, it hit my soul to the core. And I smiled. I said, you know what? I'm going to have some growth here. And I went over to her house and I heard her perspective, and I was so disappointed in myself. Hearing her perspective and hearing what her truths were pained me. It wasn't what I wanted. Never did I once have the intentions of what her perceived reality was. And I thanked her, and I learned a lot. And you know what? And I did my best to keep my mouth shut, because I don't want to make her wrong. Because when I got home, was her perspective my perspective? Not at all. But at the end of the day, that wasn't an outcome that I desired. So I learned, and here's what I learned. I do two things well in my life right now. I do my family well, I do business well, and I'm a shitty fucking friend. I was a shitty friend to her. Shitty. Even though I was doing the best job that I could. And you know what? It pains me. Yet at the end of the day, how much do you learn when, like, a loss like that? There's not another human being in this world that I've spent more time with than her in the last 7 years, and I still fucked it up.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? Do you know how much I'd learned by that loss and how I'm not going to do it moving forward? Now, here's the thing is, do I go and make it right? And that's a whole nother podcast. But through therapy and everything else, like, I don't expect perfection out of me. And if I would have known a lot of what she was talking about, and she probably told me, but I'm a guy and sometimes it just goes like that. So she may have in her way, yet I didn't hear it. Therefore, I couldn't change it, because I would never, ever want to do that to her.
What I'm hearing from you is another train on the track with me. I don't think they make trains that big, man. That we're, but it's clear that we're all in this together. And the option, this is the language that I'm going to use. The option that my friends and family have to be able to tell me that is something that is new for me.
It's painful.
Yeah, it's they now have the option to say, hey, this is how I feel, this is what I did, because I am a shitty friend. Hank, man,
guess what? I have no friends now. I don't have any friends. I can't. I got 3 kids under the age of 12, and I'm running a couple. Yeah, and then you got to run.
I got 5. Oh, no, 5. I do. I've got 5 kids, bro. Listen, Hank. We are having a beer at some point if you drink. I don't know if you drink. You might be one of those like kombuchas.
High, so not as much as I used to, but we're fixing that.
Okay, let's fix that. I was diabetic. I did my keto for 3 cycles. I am no longer diabetic. I'm having to drink with you when we can, man. I'm out of here, finale. Hank, listen, I love y'all. Hank, man, you get some time to just freaking hang out with us at 8 o'clock at night, man. If you ever have some time and you just want to, it's a really light session where we just hold each other accountable. Yeah. You're welcome. You're welcome. All right, I'll see y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So Hank, you know, I Sekou, we finish up these broadcasts a couple of ways. Number one, you broke the news to everybody that the only reason you came on this broadcast was to get a freaking hat. And I get that. A lot of people like that. Tom Ferry was like that. They're all like that. So all the greats are like that. They got to get the hat. Now I'll be going out to you. But there's a lot of things that we've hit today that are really going to help a lot of people. And you know what? I mean, I have to ask you the most important question of the day. And it's about you. It's not about me. It's about you. How can I, even though I'm using help you grow your business?
Just
How
keep
can
doing
we help you grow your business?
Have EXP be about the company and not your fucking upline. Seriously. Help enough people get what they want. Now, I don't want people to be stupid. Yet how you can help me is I want to retire from here someday. And if we have like, hey, my upline has this and my upline has this, and we're stealing people, guess what? We're going to die internally. We're going to fight internally, and we're going to blow up. My goal is to get to 1 million agents. So I created EXP Family Tree and Workplace, where I count with 4 other influencers, where all we do there's no hidden agenda. We make it so that it's not, if somebody doesn't have the greatest upline in the world, they still have a way to build this company. Plus, as we move out, we got to make sure that we have systems and processes in place where people can succeed.
Right.
And so that's what you could do for me, is make it about EXP, not your upline.
Got it.
And by the way, Dave, here's a question. I've left a lot of money on the table because could I win attraction appointments over 99% of agents? Yes.
I think so.
I never once have if I heard somebody was talking to somebody else, tried to take that listing. Why? Because I'm playing a bigger game, and it's hurt me financially.
I think it's I'll go back to something really simplistic and really that when I had my brokerage, what I always taught my people. I mean, if you've got somebody in your own company that you're going against, say, no, they'll do a great job for you. Right? It's the same thing.
Well, and here's where I make every decision from what's best for the agent. I don't stack people. I don't make people feel, I don't look at people as pawns. What I do is I look at every decision, every question, the person that I'm serving, the client in front of me, that's the perspective that matters. And that's where we make decisions and actions from. It's not about us. Serve the client in front of you. Serving the client in front of you doesn't say, again, this could be a whole nother thing. I'm passionate about it because I believe in this company. And I see our biggest blind spot.
No, I get that 100%. I get that 100%. And that's really important. I mean, just to do things the right way and not talk against others, talk more positively about it. I honestly believe that it's easier to be nice than not be. And it's also easier to talk positively than negatively, no matter what it is. Right. I think it's really, really important. Hank, how do people get in touch with you? How do they communicate with you? What's the best way?
Full transparency here. I'm putting everything on YouTube because you can't hire me to coach you. I'm the only way all of my information is a commodity. So we're giving it all away on YouTube. If you want proximity, here's what you got to do. First, join EXP. Whether it's through me or not, you can get proximity that way. Second way is if you're not talking with somebody else already and you'd like to talk about EXP, I'd like to be in business with you. But if you're already talking with somebody else, go to them. And really, that's the only way.
That's fantastic. I want to thank you so much for coming on. It's been you are a unique individual, as you probably know, and that was probably the most important thing for me. I mean, look, I've had a lot of people on, including John. And a lot of others. And John's a little bit different as well. And I am honored to have known him as long as I have. Probably 14 years, maybe a little shorter, but
wow.
He's just been a very big influence on my life. And because of how we are and our friendship. But meeting you has been really just as important to me. And I want to move forward with that. And we're gonna go off now. I want to thank everybody for staying on and watching this with us. This is going to be available again. Hey, just stay on for a couple of minutes so we can finish up. And everybody, thanks so much for coming on. And we'll see you real soon. See if I can do this correctly. See if I can do it real good. Here we go.